Good morning. Welcome to the Church of the Angels. We are an independent, non-denominational, interfaith spiritualist assembly. All who enter here are valued for their unique qualities. We gather in safe community to worship as equals in an exchange of energy through love, thought, and communication. Thank you for your cooperation as we learn how best to move through these services. That part is yes, thank you. My name is Reverend Joie, and I am your facilitator today. Service is being recorded and will be posted online at Facebook and our website. The recording will be stopped before the messages are given to respect the sacredness of working with spirit. In true spiritualist tradition, our service celebrates all four aspects of meeting. The first is the uniting of our vibrations through music, prayer, and quiet reflection. The second offers spiritual healing. The third embraces inspiration and thought exchange. And finally, we communicate messages from spirit. We will be together here for more than an hour and appreciate your help with a few logistics. Face masks or face shields are optional. Please continue to practice social distancing and try to stay in your seat unless getting up for distance healing. There will also be no fellowship time. Wipes and hand sanitizers are available. The Church of the Angels tries to be as inclusive as possible and invite those of all opinions and backgrounds to join us for our services. All speakers are prompted to leave politics and any political charged topics out of our gathering. This is to promote spiritual unity. We know that our true selves are always united in love. If you are interested in sharing your passion and knowledge with our congregation, please contact Fran Dietrich, thank you, Fran, who is scheduling speakers at this time. And if you would like to serve as the church facilitator, I am in charge of that. So, and we do have training if you're not trained. So we'll figure that out because I know we have some new people who are interested. I want to mention that if you wish to make a donation, you can do through the Church of the Angels website, and you will also have the opportunity to make your donation a reoccurring one if you should choose so. There is a separate donation page on the website, and on that page, you will be able to choose where or what your donation will be. Here in our church space, we will not be passing the baskets for safety, and they are located throughout the room. I know for sure there's one up here by the Buddha table. Thank you to all of those who have donated and helped us strong throughout this past year. Please rise and silently join in singing our first hymn,
which is This Little Light of Mine, but it's a different version.
There's a little flame inside us all. Some shine bright, some shine small. The rains will come and the waters rise, but don't you ever lose your light. In this life, you will know love and pain, joy and sorrow. So when it hurts, when times get hard, don't forget whose child you are. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, gonna let it shine. May you live each day with no regret. Make the most of every chance you get. Let your eyes get wide when you look at the stars, with the same sense of wonder as a child's heart. With the ones you love, treasure the time, and for those who are gone, keep their memories alive. Hold on to your dreams, don't ever let go. There's a fire inside you, burn it with hope. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, gonna let it shine. There will be days when you wanna give up, when the clouds settle in. But after the rain comes the sun, Don't you ever forget. Don't forget. Don't forget. One day there will be no more pain, and we will finally see Jesus' face. So until then, I'm gonna try to brave the dark and let my little light shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, gonna let it shine. Oh, shine. Gonna let it shine. There's a little light inside us all.
Please remain standing. Mother, Father, Infinite Spirit, thank you for your blessings on those who have joined here today to honor your work and experience your grace and wisdom. Thank you for providing the appropriate thoughts, insights, actions, and all resources for us to gain a better and truer understanding of your love by the words spoken, the songs sung, and by the messages and healings brought forth here today, that we may lead healthy, happy, and prosperous lives. Thank you for showing us the way to accept responsibility for our lives. We are grateful to know you are always with us. And I'm going to recite the Lakota prayer. Wankatonka, great mystery. Teach me how to trust my heart, my mind, my intuition, my inner knowing, the sense of my body, the blessing of my spirit. Teach me to trust these things so that I may enter the sacred space and love beyond my fear and walk in balance with the passing of each glorious sun. Thank you. Please be seated. This is a sacred assembly. To avoid interruptions and maintain the sacred nature of the service, all phones and our recording devices are to be turned off throughout the entire service. We will be recording at the podium area so that we can share the service with others online. Statement of principles. Please join me as I silently read the statement of principles. If you would like a copy, you can find one on our website. There was one creative force of which all life is a part. This one creative force is known by many names and manifestations. We recognize and honor the many names and manifestations of the one creative force, the source of all creation, one in God. The energy of life everywhere is continuous. All consciousness is continuous. Communication is continuous. The energy of life, consciousness, and communication never cease, even in the event that is perceived as death. One creates one's own reality. One creates in harmony with the one creative force, the great power of God, of which all life is a part. Reality as one chooses to perceive and will change as one grows in the knowledge of inner self and one's relationship with the God of his understanding. All things are possible with faith, insight, knowledge, understanding, acceptance, and love. Love is the unifying energy of the universe. Love is the energy of the one creative force, the wisdom of God. All life and all mankind are one in the creatorship and healing force of love and with each other. Love is within us and of us. Love is never apart from us. It is we who separate ourselves from the power of love. The force of God works through love and love alone. Now we will have a few moments of quiet meditation so that we may concentrate on going within to find peace, calm, and healing for ourselves and the world.
This is
Take your time and come back to the present. Please remember that we are always connected to each other and the divine. Use this peace and calm to take care of yourselves and all those around you in your communities and throughout the world in whatever way you can. And please silently add or aloud add the names of those you wish to include in this healing energy. Thank you. It is now time for inspiration and thought exchange brought to us by today's speaker. We invite everyone to address our assembly with words of inspiration, lessons learned, or passionate ideas. Every opinion expressed here is strictly that of the person who gives it. Let us consciously and lovingly agree to disagree if it does not resonate with us. The topic today is, Mel, I don't know what the topic is.
I'm still learning what that is, but I
Okay,
think
well,
it's
Mel is going to be our speaker today.
spiritually guided.
Okay. And I'm going to have you give your short bio because I don't have anything here. So you can tell us about yourself when you come up as well as when you do your talk. That works? Okay. I present Mel.
I love unexpected things, right?
I'm going to sneak over here to be able to see you from the front part of me for a moment.
Of course, there's a gender. Okay, wait. It is really weird seeing yourself talk on camera. Good point. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna take a few minutes and ground myself. For a moment, I'm gonna keep my eyes closed. It keeps me kind of in my own energy. So let me know if you're not hearing me okay. About myself. Oh, will someone help me keep track of time too? Okay, thank you. You know, someone asked me once when my spiritual journey started, and I like to say it started May of 2017. But the more I thought about it, it's actually been my entire life, if you think about it, because everything I've done kind of got me here today. And just to share a little bit about myself, my professional profession, I like to use quotes, but it is I have 10 years experience working with children and adolescents with complex trauma. And that was a blessing. Why? Because everything that I used for those children ended up helping me in my own self-healing journey. And it was a gift for sure from spirit. And if you ask me what led me to working with that population, I couldn't tell you. But today, now I kind of understand because I taught them mindfulness and meditation and how to understand their body and what's going on. And I mean, you can't intellectualize with a 6-year-old that their trauma is sitting in their body and this is what's happening. They don't know that. They just know that it's there. And so when I say my journey started in May of 2017, that's when spirit came. Because I grew up Jewish, actually, we were, and it just never resonated with me, and that's okay. And spirit came to me in animals, in nature, and in the clouds and the wind, and you know, I didn't know, but the deer, they've been a power animal for me since 2017. They just came full force. And I didn't know from May to December that my life was about to shift in a very strong, drastic way. And I was seeing butterflies everywhere, you know, butterflies, metamorphosis, transformation. And it was beautiful because, you know, in that moment in my life, it was one of those moments where you can go one of two directions. You can either choose to stay in the darkness, or you can choose to find that light and that strength that lies within and let yourself free. And I let myself free, and it was a blessing for sure. And it, you know, and the beautiful thing is it wasn't until, I don't know, January, February, when I looked back and I was like, whoa, wait a second. And so when the butterfly was coming, it was telling me that you're ready, let your wings fly. You know, when the deer was coming, it was telling me to be gentle and loving, but also that inner wisdom that comes with the deer, and that, you know, especially when you see the buck, or when I would see the family, and, you know, the dragonfly was popping up all the time. And so since then, I have developed a really deep connection with the animal world, nature, and just looking at trees, going hiking, and you see those trees when you're out hiking and they look kind of dead, but if you look really closely, there's a couple little branches that are starting to grow again. It's so beautiful the way it's symbolic. And so I am now a Reiki master, and I am a sound healer. I got my ministerial license from Universal Life Church. Don't really know what I'm supposed to use it for, but I was told to get it, so that's okay too. um, the most beautiful part I think about my journey that I really love sharing is giving myself permission to feel all of those feelings that were so stuck inside of me that made me self-doubt myself and I lived in fear and uncertainty and not knowing, and sometimes it still pops up, right? Because we're all a work in progress. But through my experience with those children, I learned that if I was doing a certain thing or acting a certain way, it was my body was telling me something, because our bodies are beautiful gifts. They really are. They can tell us everything that we want to know if we listen, when we listen. And allowing myself to cry has been a gift for sure. Allowing myself to sit there in the middle of the trees and just scream. No reason. Just because energy had to move, and that's what needed to happen. And giving myself permission to have those icky days, those days that, like, I don't think I'm going to get out of bed and I might not even shower. And that's okay. I think it has been such an important part of my journey, is just accepting myself for what it is that I'm feeling, and just accepting myself for what is lying in front of me. And so I'm going to say our topic today is acceptance. Acceptance of what is, acceptance of what could be, and acceptance of just life, you know? Because acceptance is hard, it's, why do I feel this way? Why am I sitting here crying? Why am I, and when, for me, when I would say all those whys, and why am I crying, and why am I doing this, and why am I not wanting to leave the house, and why am I just sitting here scrolling on Facebook? I don't know how many of you guys have that problem, but me and Facebook, man, it teaches me a lot, right? It tells me where I'm at in my body. Sometimes I do give myself permission to just be mindless. But accepting those moments, those moments when, because all those moments lead to growth. All those moments when you feel like you need to sit there, when I feel like I need to sit there and just cry. And the blessing for me is to not attach to the emotion, right? Because when we attach the emotion, then our body and our ego is like, oh, well, it must be true that we're sad or angry or depressed or whatever. No, we just got a lot of energy in our body, and this is how it's going to be released. I don't want to babble, so I'm being really intentional with my words as well. So in February of 2020, I went to Sam Ash Music Store in Lyndhurst. I don't know if you guys are familiar. And I was with my little brother. He's musically gifted. And I go to the store, and they had drums, guys, djembes. And I've always been kind of drawn to the drum, but I never really understood why. And I'm sitting there, and I'm in the back of the store with all these djembes, and I'm just I don't know where my brother was. I don't know where time was. I just lost time and space. And my little Jimbe came with me last week to service. Our connection has been really awesome. But so I bought her, and it was the last $40 in my pocket, like in my checkbook. And I was like, I accepted. I knew I was supposed to get that Jimbe. And I mean, I now have 5 drums. I'm now a sound healer with djembes. And if you would have asked me then, February 2020, what my world was going to turn into, I wouldn't have believed you. And so I think the other part of acceptance is accepting those draws, right? Those moments where you can feel it so much in your heart that there's everything in you telling you to go do this thing. But then there's the ego that likes to protect us and say, but your checkbook's telling you not to, right? And it was fine, of course, but so it's even accepting the inner guidance, the inner knowing, because I was on that self-healing journey for a couple years at that point. And so in 2017 I actually left the field of being a professional therapist, and it was with what was going on with me in my personal life plus working with trauma, it was heavy, and I knew I needed something else for me. And I was blessed with the opportunity to just dive deep into my self-healing. And then I get these drums, and it took it to a whole other level. I mean, sitting there drumming and thinking of a situation that often at that moment in time it no longer does anymore, but would often replay in my head because it was energy that was stuck in my body. It needed to be released somehow or another. And to sit there and drum to this moment and not think, just be with me and the drum. And I would often do it back in my woods. So there was birds and trees, and it was just, and to allow myself to be in that moment and drum and cry, and the energy was gone. And then all of a sudden it turned to light, and I'm like, oh, wait a second, did this really just happen? And then and then so the drums became my medicine. And I think the other part of I'm feeling guided to offer is to find what medicine works for you, and find that medicine that your soul just sings, that you have that pull and it's so strong inside of you that you have to go do it. It doesn't matter how you're going to get there. It's just you have to. And for me, it's been a blessing, and to be able to share that with other people through whatever it is, I mean, there was this moment I took, so I have a big djembe, and I took him down to Edgewater, and I'm sitting there. I found this tree on the beach, and I have my feet in the sand, and I'm just drumming away, just kind of, to the water, the sunset, whatever was happening. And there are these 4 or 5 teenagers that came over. I'm like, of course. And I started giving him messages. I'm like, wait a second, what is happening here? But see, that's how I'm getting comfortable, because I take this off, which is cool. I start giving him messages, and then we're sitting there drumming, and these boys, they were smiling and dancing. And so I knew in that moment in time that whatever was going on in their world didn't matter. And that was such a gift. I mean, I didn't sleep that night in like a good way. It's just the energy was just, I felt honored and blessed to be able to give them that moment. But then I realized that I had to give myself all those other self-healing moments to get me to that point, to where I could just offer it. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just drumming. And it was actually interesting because there was supposed to be a jump circle that day. And for whatever reason, Spirit always, ha, ha, ha. They were supposed to meet here at Edgewater, and I totally didn't miss the post. And they ended up meeting in a whole nother place. Well, at that point, it was already like 8:30, sunset was going to happen. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm here for a reason. I'm just going to trust it. And had I went to this other spot, probably wouldn't have gotten drumming in. And I definitely wouldn't have given those boys that experience. And, and so I think even for me, like the other part of acceptance is accepting when Spirit intervenes. Because they typically, for me, they have always intervened in situations that I thought I could control, in situations that that I wanted it to be different. It's like ending those things that I really didn't want it to end, but then realizing that it ended for a reason and it was supposed to be gone. How am I doing on time? Oh, that's perfect because I feel kind of done too. So no, I mean not done. I feel like I have shared what. So I'm going to part with this. Know that the self-healing journey is in layers. And know that whatever part of the journey that you are on is exactly where you're supposed to be. And trust that no matter what, your angels and your ancestors and your higher power, whatever you choose to call it, is always there. They're not going to give us a situation that we're not meant to get through. And there's this other thing I heard. My soul chose my body because my soul knew that my body was going to handle what it was we were about to go through in this lifetime. So I'm going to repeat that. My soul chose my body because it knew that my body was going to be able to withstand whatever it is that we are going through in this lifetime. So with that, thank you so much for this honor.
Yeah, we have questions.
Oh yeah, that's cool. I'm just going to get my water.
I have a comment. Awesome.
Um,
I'm really glad you spoke, and I think I should.
It would be my honor. Yes. Thank you.
When you were talking about the accepting of being allowed to be okay, to be this, it reminded me of this one old person that I used to go to these spiritual groups with. He used to write people permission slips. Post-it. You have permission to, feel this way or whatever the case is. And it just made me think about these things, and the journey of self-healing and what a journey it is, man. It's such an amazing way of life. So thank you for sharing.
Oh, my pleasure.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is so much in our lives that pulls us away from self-healing. So, is your main advice to just get out and be away from everybody, or what is your main advice as to how to put all those things that are getting in the way?
Getting it, like those things that like to try to distract us from what we're trying to do. Stay here. And the more practicing mindfulness and understanding my body helped me to see what didn't resonate with me and what didn't feel good. So it's giving yourself permission to be selfish, to sit there and say no, to sit there and change plans when you have plans, but you know what, for whatever reason today, it doesn't feel right, so I'm going to cancel. It's being here and grounded and centered, because all those things that come at us are there to help us grow. So I hope that helps. Anybody else?
I think part of the hardest part of my journey is finding acceptance for the mother I was 30 years ago, who would have done it way different. or the person I was, or the people I alienated, and saying, you know what, I forgive you, it's okay. You were doing the best you can. And I'm working through kind of a hard thing right now, but to just say that is good, but to find acceptance, and I had really been on my knees and said, you know, you need to help me release this because I'm not too happy with her, you know, and I think sometimes finding acceptance of the paths that we maybe screwed up a lot is hard.
Mhm.
And I think that's part of our journey now. At times, I mean, I don't mean dwell on the past, but
Yeah.
stuff comes up, you know.
But
So
if I may offer something for you,
you may,
encourage you to look at the lesson because it's all growth and forgive yourself.
working on it.
Yeah. For me, I've always asked to help from my guides to help me
Yeah,
get to those,
Yeah.
those moments of forgiveness but also for me, it's focusing on the present because that's really all that matters. Like what happened in the past, like what happens, an hour from now doesn't matter
yeah, I
anymore.
know, but
Yeah. But be patient with yourself and loving. It's all a process. You'll get there when you're ready. Hmm.
I just like what I got from your story, like about acceptance, is like things like real, like simple, like real black and white. Like either you accept something or you don't. Right? So like you accept something, in those moments, everything was fine. You felt good. You were, in the moment, you were peaceful, and it's steady and it's great. So rather like don't always don't. That's when like all the strife comes, all the doubt, the worry. So when you choose to accept it, if you're done, if you wash your hands of it. So like, but I was experienced like if you accept it, I'm like, oh, but everything else is just that the ego, the mind, the distraction. So when you accept it, say, I've accepted it, right? And
Mhm.
it's a done deal. And then I mean it's a it's acceptance, I don't know. But like it's things like go black and white, like your path is easy or hard.
Mhm.
What do you want to do? So thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. There was a lot of hard days in between that, by the way. Like it took time to get there. Anybody else?
Now it's time for announcements. Okay, first, oh, this is a really old one. Okay, well, we still have development circle, and I guess I'm gonna have to tell you, you're gonna have to go online and look, okay? Oh, we're still looking for someone within the church who is tech savvy that could help the church with Yelp and a few other online situations. Please email the church if you can help. Please check the website, newsletter, or Facebook for the newest information on our live services plans, which we were going to keep doing this. So this was early on. But also, Fran is looking for people to volunteer to speak. So, and I'm looking for people to volunteer to facilitate. Training is available. And I don't know if there's any other announcements from the floor.
On the 18th, which is a week from 2 weeks, a week from today. On the 18th, there's going to be a Sunday evening Zoom service. So for those that, and Reverend Johnny was to be hosting that, so that those who prefer to come virtually or on the event, Sunday evening at 7.
It's gonna be 2 services on that day?
One will be here live, and then in the evening will be a Zoom for
Zoom out.
people who move to South Dakota.
Oh, geez.
I have something just about the speaking and the facilitating. I've done both, and Joey's done both, so we can both attest to the fact that it's great fun. Both of them are great fun, even though you think it's not going to be. It really is fun, and you will be surprised at how much people want to hear what you have to say, because they really do want to hear what you have to say. And I'm just going to ask Mel. You had fun, right?
Yeah, it was a blessing for sure.
Okay, so don't hesitate. If you're moved at all, contact either Joey or I, because you'll grow from it for sure.
And facilitating is fun.
Yeah,
A lot, sometimes I think I can be selfish and not want to share, so, but I will. Okay, now it's time for healing and messages. To usher in our time for truth and messages from Spirit, please rise and join in silently singing our next hymn.
Battery 80%.
Silent.
Yes, mine.
You're singing to yourself just yet.
I hear you in the river song, eternal waters flowing on and on. Mother, I hear you in the river song, eternal waters flowing on and on. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ya hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ya hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Father, I see you when the eagle flies. Light of the Spirit's gonna take us higher. Father, I see you when the eagle flies. Light of the Spirit's gonna take us higher. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ya hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ya hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Mother, I feel you under my feet. Mother, I hear your heartbeat. Mother, I feel you under my feet. Mother, I hear your heartbeat. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ya hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ya hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Mother, I hear you in the river song, eternal waters flowing on and on. Mother, I hear you in the river song, eternal waters flowing on and on. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ya hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ya hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Father, I see you when the eagle flies. Light of the Spirit's gonna take us higher. Father, I see you when the eagle flies. Light of the Spirit's gonna take us higher. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ya hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ya hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Mother, I feel you under my feet. Mother, I hear your heartbeat. Mother, I feel you under my feet. Mother, I hear your heartbeat. Mother, I feel you under my feet. Mother, I hear your heartbeat.
Thank you. Please be seated. Recording will now be stopped to preserve the sacredness of those serving and receiving from Spirit. For those of you watching on this video, thank you for your support, and remember that you are always connected to the divine and all of creation.